The following video is entirely based on interviews and stories reported by other media outlets, which we collect and curate in an attempt to provide one coherent and well-rounded history piece from the world of professional wrestling.
Support Wrestle Talk!
Follow us on Twitter. In 2005, at ECW's first reunion show, One Night Stand pay-per-view, fans were treated to a great night of nostalgic action. But there was a moment towards the end that perhaps overshadowed the entire show itself. A shoot fight between one of the ECW wrestlers and a former WWE champion. Mi nombre es El Fakeador, and this is the true story behind JBL and Blue Meanie's shoot fight. When WWE released ECW One Night Stand 2005 on DVD, there was an option to hear JBL's thoughts on the show as he watched it live from the balcony. Along with calling Lance Storm the most boring man in the history of boring, making fun of Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten's weight, he also had some choice comments about Blue Meanie. When the Blue Guy made his entrance along with the rest of the Blue World Order prior to the main event starting, JBL called him a fat and that he looks like a donkey screwing a basketball, saying, "Go donate your body to science fiction, you fat, lowly pig." He looks like a blue-haired 800-pound Abe Lincoln. Final moments of the show saw the ECW wrestlers get into a giant brawl with some of the heels from Raw and SmackDown, which of course included JBL. But as the brawl came to its scheduled end, the cameras tried not to show that Meanie's face had been bloodied and bruised in the scuffle. On an episode of Talk is Jericho in February 2016, Meanie recalled, "I feel this punch right on my scar from a recent injury suffered at Hardcore Homecoming." And I go, "What the hell?" I turned around and there's JBL. He starts throwing shots. He does the hockey thing, pulls my shirt over my face and starts throwing live rounds. He's got a fistful of rings. So I was like, I ain't gonna take this. So I snatched a headlock as much as I could get on a 6'6" man, and I started throwing punches back. We kind of get pulled apart. In an interview with WWE.com a few weeks after the pay-per-view, JBL gave his version of events, saying, "Here we are trying to give the fans a great finish to the pay-per-view and we begin to lock horns in the melee, but he's basically not even acknowledging my presence. I might have caught him snug with a shot, but then he started throwing back heavy punches, including a body shot. So make no mistake, I club him back to make sure he knows I'm not playing, and I think I got him with a shot over the eye, one near the forehead, and apparently opened him up a little." When Meanie got backstage, head of talent relations John Laurinaitis was very upset at him bleeding on camera and accused him of cutting himself on purpose. According to Meanie, he explained that JBL punched him for real, saying, "I gave Laurinaitis the elevator pitch of the heat that we had. I was like, hey, this, and he was like, that's unacceptable, we don't do that here, blah blah blah." And I walked further into the gorilla position and there's JBL, and he said, "You were talking about me on the internet." I was like, crap dude, was I wrong? You're having a hard time proving me wrong. According to JBL, he asked if Meanie wanted to continue the fight, but was turned down. Instead, Meanie revealed WWE stitched him up and doubled his pay for the night. During his Talk is Jericho interview, Meanie also explained why he thought JBL went after him during the brawl and why they had this heat. He said, "I did a shoot interview when I left WWE. I said I had a great time in WWE. I saw the world. I got paid to see the world on Vince McMahon's dime. I thanked WWE. I was like, the only thing is, JBL was kind of a..." And he didn't stop there, going on to describe JBL as a bully, saying, "During my whole tenure there in WWE from 98 to 2000, it was like, I don't want to say like hazing, but bullying. Whether it would be shots in a match, or we'd be on a plane and he's telling a story about some fat you know he's kind of referencing you." These comments made their way back to WWE and JBL, who didn't like being labelled as a bully. So in his 2005 interview with WWE.com in reference to the fight between the two at One Night Stand, JBL said before the brawl at the end of the pay-per-view, Blue Meanie started cutting a shoot promo on me, saying I'm the reason he got fired, and the only reason I got to where I am was because I sucked Vince McMahon's. I was incredulous. I thought, there's no way he could really mean this. In fact, JBL says in the interview that he doesn't even remember that Blue Meanie worked for the WWF in the late 90s. "I understand he worked here, but I couldn't even remember working with him. I couldn't care less about the fat little kid." Yet again, proving he's not a bully. Meanie wrote on his website after the pay-per-view that he was considering legal action against JBL and WWE, but was instead offered a short-term contract with the company. So then the Blue World Order reformed on an episode of SmackDown on July 7th, 2005, less than a month after ECW One Night Stand, with Meanie challenging JBL to a match. Although Meanie won via some interference from Batista, it was BWO member Stevie Richards who made the headlines after delivering a very stiff chair shot to JBL that opened him up hard way. In an interview with RF Video, Richards called the chair shot a surreal moment, saying that he'd looked into Meanie's eyes and he knew exactly what to do. Although the Blue World Order only had one other pay-per-view match, a losing effort to the Mexicools, the heat between JBL and Meanie has since subsided, with both men now friendly with one another on social media. In fact, their friendship now runs so deep that JBL was lobbying for Blue Meanie to be a surprise entrance in the 2015 Royal Rumble from Philadelphia. I'd just done ECW Unreleased Volume 3 for WWE, and what better way to announce the DVD than an ECW original in Philadelphia coming to the ring. It came down to that Friday before, and they picked Bubba Dudley. I love Bubba, and I marked out seeing Bubba come out too. Luke and Ollie review ECW One Night Stand in full, including their thoughts on the JBL Meanie incident, which you can listen to by pledging $5 on Patreon. I've been El Fakador, that was Lucha.